What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky. So this is a chance for us to sit down, for me to answer any questions you have about dropshipping. But this week we have some news we have to cover first. This has been something that has kind of had me scratching my head for a couple of weeks now or so. Maybe it's a little bit less than that. And I thought maybe there was something broken on my end, but a lot of other people are reporting the same thing. Unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of kind of clarifying information about that. So we're going to get into that big announcement, and then I'll jump into the live chat and answer any questions that you guys might have. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about or questions about eBay, Facebook Marketplace, dropshipping, Amazon in general, just throw them into the chat, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I wanted to share my screen to kind of explain what this problem is, this update is, and how it could be affecting us as dropshippers or just really any eBay sellers. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. Should be able to. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see my screen here. It used to be that when you came over to eBay.com, you can come over to any listing that has sold already. So right here, we're looking at this bifold plastic folding table, right? And you can see right here that this item has sold, right? It's sold 24 times. Well, it used to be the case that you could actually click on this right here, and it would show you when this item sold. It would show you the entire sales history. Now, a couple of years ago, they actually made that section smaller, so to speak, where it wouldn't show you the full sales history. It would only show you like the past few months or so, but it was still there. And this was important for us as dropshippers because, yes, we can come in here and we can see that this item is sold 24 times, but when did it sell? And that's what's really important for any eBay seller. You want to know when items are selling, because if you see that this item sold 24 times 3 years ago and hasn't sold since then, well, that's not a great sign. That doesn't mean that that is a product that's going to be selling well right now. So as dropshippers, as eBay sellers, we're looking for products when we're listing them up for sale that are popular right now. So having that information is really valuable because you can click on it and see, hey, oh, this one sold 5 times in the past month. Okay, this is a pretty good item. This is one that I'd be interested in selling myself. So eBay used to give us that information just by clicking here. And like a couple of weeks ago, I was coming in here I think it was to make a video, because I don't really do this anymore. I'll explain more about that in a second, but I don't really do this anymore. And what I noticed was I couldn't click on it. And I was like, what is going on? So I thought maybe there was something wrong with my computer. You know, I've been messing around. Like I have like a new VPN. I'm using a new browser with all these like extensions that prevent pop-ups. Like maybe it's some sort of like ad blocker I have on. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So I kind of just ignored it. And then it happened again. And I'm just like, what is going on? But a lot of other sellers are reporting the same thing as well. So this is an article from March 2nd. This was really the only sort of news article I could find about it. And it's not even an article. It's just a letter to the editor on this website. This is a really great website to get news about e-commerce, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, all these different places. It's called E-commerce Bytes or Ecom Bytes. And this has a letter to the editor from March 2nd. So that was about 5 days ago, saying the same thing, saying, I used to be able to do this, but as of 3 days ago, it doesn't work anymore. And there's a lot of people on Reddit saying the same thing as well. So this isn't just an isolated issue. It's happening to everyone. So for any eBay sellers, this is a problem, but it's not really a huge problem because I've always encouraged you guys to use a product research software called Zeek Analytics. Zeek Analytics is what we use to help us find products to dropship onto eBay. And the great thing is that, yes, this feature is no longer available on eBay, but it continues to be available on Zeek Analytics. Zeek Analytics continues to have this data and is able to get it from other ways. In fact, they had absolutely no disruption to this information because they get it another way. So for instance, I searched for the same thing I searched for before, which was tables. And you can see here, it not only tells you how many times it's sold, which is 90 times in total, but it tells you, hey, this is sold 86 times in the past month. So again, that's what I'm talking about, where just because it's sold 90 times, we don't know when it's sold when you're just looking on eBay. But Zeek Analytics is telling you, yes, this item has sold not only 90 times, but most of those sales happened in the past 30 days. So that's the kind of information we need. And luckily, if you use Zeek Analytics, it's still going to give you that information. So the unfortunate thing is that previously, I always said you could always come over to eBay and do product research for free because you can see how many times they sold and when. You can't do that anymore. You got to use a software like Zeek Analytics to get the information about when the item sold. You would still be able to know it's sold, but you don't know when, and that's just as important. So you could just base your research off of this, but it's not going to be as strong as using something like Zeek Analytics that tells you when exactly they sold. So it's kind of good news, bad news, or I say bad news, and maybe like irrelevant news on the other hand. Because the bad news is it's no longer free, but the good news is that if you're using Zeek Analytics anyway, you already have that information. You don't have to kind of worry or change anything. So yeah, that's kind of the news about eBay. If I hear anything else about why eBay might be doing this, I'll certainly update you, but I couldn't find any information about it. It just seems like that was the only article I could find. And literally there's nothing else out there besides just some speculation on Reddit and on that blog. So that's the update. If you guys do want to try Zeek Analytics, I think I have a link in the description. And if you use that link, you get a free trial of it to try it out for yourself and see if it will work for you and help you find some products to dropship. All right, so let's jump into the chat now and see what kind of questions you all have. I saw some questions about this. Hey, what's up, Scry? Thanks for being here. Black God says, I was just about to ask this question in the group. Also, there has been an issue to my knowledge. This has been an issue for the past week now. Interested in solution. Yeah, so I think the solution is you have to use a software like Zeek Analytics. I can't find any other way to do it. Like I said, this is something that I noticed about a week ago, but again, I have a new VPN on my computer. I thought maybe that was messing things up or an ad blocker. And I didn't really pay too much mind because like I said, I use Zeek Analytics anyway. So it's not like that's something I look at every day. Sure. I'm here for the questions. eBay features updates have always been dumb for the most part, in my opinion. You know what? I love eBay. I love what they've created for us to be able to sell. Obviously, it's changed my life, but I don't disagree with you at all. They're always trying to like improve their platform, but they just do it in the like most nonsensical way. The updates we want from eBay, they don't give us, and then they give us these updates that no one asked for. So like, why make this change? I'm not sure. I think the speculation is that there's some big box stores that sell on eBay that don't want that information publicly available for whatever reason. They put pressure on eBay. I don't know where people came up with that idea from. I don't think it's, I think it's very plausible, but I don't know where people would have came up with that idea. I really have absolutely no idea why eBay would have done this if they did it intentionally. My guess is maybe this is an unintentional thing, that there's some bug or they made some change and didn't update some code somewhere. Because like I said, I just don't see any reason why they would do this on purpose. I could see them, if that feature wasn't available to begin with, I could see them not prioritizing adding it. But to spend the time and money to take it away just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure exactly why they would be doing that. But yeah, in general, there's just like one of the things on eBay we've been begging for from eBay is a way to have our assistants, our virtual assistants, our employees be able to log into eBay and actually be able to work on our account without giving them our actual password to our account. We begged eBay for that for years and years, and they were so slow with rolling it out. And then when they did roll it out, it's terrible. I don't use it, and I don't recommend that you use it because it just doesn't work. And it's just kind of just silly that they didn't spend, they put some time into it and just not enough into it. So that's just one of the realities with eBay. They just do what they want, right? Okay. Gred says, I had a feeling you were going to address this issue. You just addressed my question here. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. It's not as detailed, but Zeke is probably the best option at the moment. Yeah, I see what you mean by not as detailed, because when you're on eBay, it would actually show you when exactly it's sold. But yeah, for me, it doesn't really matter. Like if it sold yesterday and the day before and the day before, all I really care about is has it sold in the past month and how many times in the past month, which Zeek Analytics does give you. But yeah, you make a good point there. All right, we have a shill here for Vault Inu. But congrats on the almost 100,000 subs. Don't congratulate me too soon. We're not there yet. We're on our way. Mohammed says, I created we'll answer this one now. I created nearly 4 to 5 Facebook accounts to do drop shipping, but I always get the message you can't buy or sell on Facebook Marketplace. And I live in India. I want to drop ship in USA. So you can drop ship on Facebook Marketplace. We do that. Like we drop ship products on Facebook Marketplace from Amazon, from Walmart, from eBay, all these places. But if you're not in the United States and from the United States, it's not going to work. There's always people who are trying to find ways around that. Like they use a VPN to make it look like they have they're in the United States and set it up as if they're from the United States. But we've just generally seen that not to work. Unfortunately, I don't really know a way around that. I haven't seen it work for anyone. So if you're trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace, the only way I know to do it is if you're here in the United States, or actually Canada as well, and you have a US account. Hey, what's up, Steven? Dead Wrong Rick says, listings still show X sold in 24 hours, text at least. Oh, good point. Let me see if I can find one of those. I know exactly what you're talking about. So let me come over to eBay. It's one of the weird things about eBay is kind of like why they give you some information and not others when it comes to this thing. So I'll show you an example of what I mean. So I just searched on here for tables, and you can see right here, like in the results, this says 19 sold for this one. This one says 36 sold. This one says 71 sold. Sometimes it will show you the number of times this item sold in the results right here. And for some listings, it doesn't. And I'm not really sure what the pattern is. Assuming if it has more sales, it will show you. Let's see if this one has any sales. Yeah, so see, this one sold 6 times, but it doesn't tell you that it sold 6 times here. But this one sold 28 times, and it does tell you that right here. And then sometimes it will say this one sold X number of times in the past 24 hours. Sometimes we actually have to go to the results page. So let's look. Let's open up a few of these. So that one's 6 sold, 24. This one says last one, 2 available. No, I'm not seeing it, but it does. I promise you, Rick's right. It does say it on some of the listings, how many times it's sold in the past 24 hours. But as you see, it's not consistent. Like I'm sure some of these have sold in the past 24 hours that we were just looking at, but it's not telling us that. So yeah, it's just weird that it's kind of like inconsistent with that information. Which is why I really prefer something like Zeek that will just kind of tell you. Yeah, and then other times, like these always tell you in red. Like this one sold 18 times. It tells you it in red. This one sold 6 times. And on this one, it's in black. So, oh, there we go. There it is. One sold in 24 hours. So maybe I was just looking in the wrong spot. No, they just didn't have it on these ones. Yeah, so that's weird. I mean, this one says one sold in 24 hours. The other ones don't. And it's black here when the other ones are red there. So I don't know. I don't know who designs this stuff, but it's certainly not me or Rick. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you can always go to sold listings on eBay, but again, it's not going to be as consistent. Okay, Elizabeth's Life says, how do you get rid of the price tag when shipping out the product? So this is obviously a concern for people who are drop shipping from any retail store from to anywhere. So drop shipping from like Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, anywhere to any other marketplace. So the good news is that when you buy something online from one of these stores, they never have a price on the box usually. Sometimes it will have the MSRP on the price on the box, but it's not like a giant label usually. So you don't have to worry about that. But some businesses will include the price in the box. Like they might put a slip of paper in the shipping box with the price on it. Lowe's does that, for instance. But a lot of them don't do that. So if you buy from Amazon, you can choose a gift receipt and they won't include the price. If you buy from Walmart, they never include the price in there. Home Depot does include an invoice in the box, like a breakdown of what you purchased, but it doesn't say the price. There's no price on that sheet of paper. So generally speaking, you don't have to worry about this, Elizabeth, because it's just not going to be an issue. And then there's other companies you can drop ship from that are specifically designed for drop shippers. So they're not going to include the price, like if you do wholesale or something like that. eBay often makes no sense. Yeah. The only consistent thing is their inconsistencies. On Facebook Marketplace, people think I'm a scammer. How do I overcome this issue as a drop shipper? So the number one thing to overcome it is you have to get the shipping option on Facebook Marketplace. If you get the shipping option on Facebook Marketplace, then people can purchase from you just by clicking the big blue button on Facebook that says buy now. That will allow them to actually make the payment through Facebook, and there's a lot more consumer confidence in that. If you're asking people to pay you off of Facebook, that's when people start to feel like they might be getting scammed because they don't understand how like seller protections work on PayPal and things like that. But the best way of doing it is to do it through directly through Facebook. Not that I know of. I don't think you can get permission to do it. Okay, let me go back to the beginning because I missed a bunch of questions. George says, does Google Trends help me with drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace? So Google Trends, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is just kind of a way to see what's popular when. Well, technically it's what is searched for when. So let me share my screen. I'll show you how it works. And it can be useful. So there are some examples here. Apparently, things that are very highly searched for are the words Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift. And you can see Taylor Swift is more searched for than Kim Kardashian, but it goes up and down. This is just within the past day or so. But what we can do is look, well, let's find a better example. You can really search anything in here. It gets pretty interesting. So if we search here for, let's say, Christmas, this is a really easy example to see. If we look at Christmas and we look at the past 5 years, you can see the interest in Christmas, how many people search for it when, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's pretty obvious when it would start going up, which is around, well, end of October, but really November, December, and then come middle of January, people stop searching for Christmas, really early January. And it's the same pattern every single year. So the traditional way that we do product research for dropshipping is we would come over, like I said before, use Zeek Analytics and see, hey, what's popular right now? So we see this table has been popular for the past, it sold 86 times in the past month. So we know that something like this is a popular item, and I would try to find this same one from a supplier or something similar. But the problem is that when you start to approach a holiday like this, you need to be more proactive about it. So if you're like looking on Zeek Analytics on this day, whatever this day is, probably like Christmas Day, and you search, you're going to see that over the past 30 days, a ton of Christmas stuff sold. But it's too late for you to sell Christmas stuff. You see what I mean? So you need to catch the trend early with these holidays and these more seasonal items. So to do that, you kind of have to use your brain and just use your knowledge about the world and say, okay, what's coming up? Well, Christmas is coming up. Now, like I showed you right here, if you were to ask me when people start getting interested in Christmas, I would say right after Thanksgiving. But as we see here, people really start getting interested in it much earlier than that, like at the end of October, first week of November. So if you start listing up Christmas stuff here, you're going to have plenty of items in your store ready to take off when people get really interested in it. So it is good for kind of catching those trends and being on top of things early. I'm kind of curious here because you see like every year there's this strange kind of dip right here. I'm just kind of curious why that's happening. So that's December 8th and 9th. Seems like on December 9th, interest in Christmas plateaus or drops off. It's like the same time every year. That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure what that's about. My original thought when I saw this was that this is related to Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving's before that. So my guess is like people get really super into or excited about Christmas, like right around Thanksgiving. And then the first week in December hits and kind of reality sets in. They're like, oh my gosh, we still got a whole month to go. And then like a week later, they're like, okay, full on Christmas spirit. So that's kind of my guess with that. But you can do that with any holiday or any sort of product that you might be selling. So you could look at like, I don't know, like skis, right? Skis, yeah, skis. And you see, let's look at past 5 years, and you see it kind of goes up and down. People get interested in it around late November, same kind of time of year. And then interest kind of starts to drop off, middle of February, March or so. So it's kind of good for knowing when to catch those trends for sure. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll have to update that part of the Facebook course, Cred. Thanks for the reminder about that. The whole course is actually going to have a major overhaul pretty soon. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with my website and with the course pretty soon. No, Haley, I wouldn't start a new store. So Haley had a problem she brought to us last week where she put her eBay store on vacation mode. And this is something really unfortunate. Another weird thing about eBay. Never do this. Never put your store on vacation mode. Because Haley was doing really good before that. She put her store on vacation mode, and when she came back from vacation, her sales just haven't picked back up. That really makes me mad because that shouldn't happen. I mean, eBay, that's something that eBay is known about for years and years and hasn't fixed, and doesn't make any sense. So if you have to go away, you have to step away from your eBay store, I would change all your quantities to 0 or put them all really high price or increase the shipping and handling time. That way people don't buy them, because you don't want to run into a situation where someone's buying from you while you're away, but you also don't want to put your store on vacation mode because it just is broken and they don't fix it. Instead, they take away how many times things have sold in the past month or so. Yeah. So just keep going, and then hopefully your store just refreshes itself and does well. Welcome. Yeah, you can join my free Facebook group. It's the work from home group on Facebook. I think I have it linked up in the description. We talked about that. Cool. Hey, what's up, Steven? That's another way of doing it. Bob and Jen are here. What's up, guys? They're still waiting on their sales license. Can't wait to actually start the program. Pennsylvania's taking a while. Yeah, I don't know. They might still be short-staffed because of COVID or something. I'm not sure. They might have just got really backed up, and then they continue to stay backed up. So hang in there. I'm sure you'll get your everything squared away pretty soon and be able to hit the ground running pretty soon. Just stay on top of it. No, Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, like I said, I only know it to really work in the United States. I know it is available in some other countries, but for the most part, it seems like it only works if you're here in the United States and have an account that you set up here, in a Facebook account that you set up here in the United States. Let's see. Robert and Jen says, I thought you said not to use gift receipt last week. I don't think I said that. Yeah, the only websites really available on is Amazon. I might have said for Walmart, some people say on Walmart, you should always do gift registry. But that just ignore that advice. Okay. There's, you don't do that. It just doesn't work. You don't need a gift registry on Walmart. It's like a weird long process that doesn't even matter. When you buy stuff from Walmart, they don't include the price in the box. So don't worry about that. Only thing is if you're buying from Amazon, then yeah, choose a gift receipt. All right, Prolific Bookstores here. What is up? Says, hi, I'm an eBay dropshipper, getting at least 10 sales a day. The last week, I did $779 in, sales is $779. Profit is $127. I have 500 listings until I get a listing increase. I need more high ticket items to scale my store. So congratulations, you're in the growing phase. This is awesome. Really important now to continue to feed the beast, continue to work on your account. I've seen people kind of get in your position where they're growing, they're getting the momentum going, and for whatever reason they pull back, whether they take a vacation or something else. I wouldn't make that mistake right now. You want to grow your store. You want to put more energy into it, more time into it, because this is really when it will make a huge difference. In your situation, what I would do is kind of get rid of some of the listings that aren't selling. You don't have to delete all of them, but maybe like 100 or so listings that aren't selling. Get rid of those ones and then use that extra space to add some items that you think are going to do well. So you have items that are selling, obviously. Look at what's selling and spider off of them. So go to the item on your supplier's website. Like let's say it's Amazon. Underneath the pictures of the item on Amazon, it will tell you, hey, people who buy this also buy these items. We'll list those ones up for sale as well. If you're selling an item, also look to see if there's something similar. All these websites will show you similar products usually on the product page. So sell similar ones as well. Use similar titles. Make sure they're similar in price as well, because you know that formula works. You just want to try to replicate it for other products as well. So that's what I'd be doing at this point if I was you, and really continue to get that momentum building up because you're doing excellent. But you want to just continue that kind of snowball effect. All right. Yeah, again, that's the problem. You know, you can do it in your situation, but you have to get people to pay you off of Facebook using like PayPal. That'd probably be the most trusted method, and it does work, but you're just not going to make as many sales unless you have that buy button. So that's really the route that you want to go. And if you don't have that, it's probably worth your energy to put your time. Sorry, it's probably more worth it for you to put your time and energy somewhere else. Omar is here. What's up? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Says, hey, Paul, what about St. Patrick's Day products? That would have been a better example, Omar. So coming in here, search for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. And you can kind of see the trend of it. So this is actually really cool to see, because my suggestion to you before we even looked at this is don't really bother with St. Patrick's Day, because St. Patrick's Day isn't a major holiday in the United States. Yes, there's always people who celebrate it, but there's two things you have to look at. You have to look at, one, how big is the holiday? And then two, what are people going to buy and use on that holiday? So for something like St. Patrick's Day, it's not a major holiday, and there's not much you can sell. There's like some cheap stuff, like some green decorations, some, stuff like that, but it's not going to be huge. So it's not something you really have to put a lot of energy into or behind. But on the other hand, just kind of play devil's advocate here, drop shipping is of the nature where it's so easy to add new products into your store, right? We see St. Patrick's Day coming up. A lot of other sellers who aren't doing drop shipping might say, it's just not worth it because there's not a ton of interest for St. Patrick's Day. But for us drop shippers, where if we list up 100 St. Patrick's Day items and let's say none of them sold, oh well, we wasted some time. We didn't waste any money doing that. Whereas a regular seller would waste money doing that. So it might actually put us in this really competitive advantage. I mean, that's one of the real strengths and benefits of doing drop shipping over a traditional e-commerce model. So just kind of give you two sides of the coin there. I mean, me personally, I never found it to be worth it. I haven't sold that much St. Patrick's Day items. But if you're brand new and you're looking for those trends and those seasonal items, you might want to give it a shot. Especially in the beginning, seasonal items are really, really important to jump on, seasonal trends as a new seller, because that's when you really get kind of these spikes in sales going on. And people will spend more money, and people, will be searching for these more during these short periods of time. It's interesting that Missouri is like the number one state that searches for St. Patrick's Day. I wonder what that's all about. But there you go. There's all sorts of stuff that kind of breaks you down. You can kind of get lost here, kind of like interested in what it all has to say. Like related topic, they say, is no mythical creature. Okay. Related topic, sodium bicarbonate. Okay. I'm a little bit confused by that one, how that's related, but they say it is. Okay. Hey, what's up, Odema? How's it going? I haven't heard anything about a higher paid service model. What do you mean by that? Like we have to pay to use Facebook Marketplace? Is that what you mean? Ask it again. I think I've gone through all of them now. No problem. Glad you liked them. Make sure to subscribe. We're pretty close to 100,000 subscribers. So I'd appreciate that. The buy button on Facebook, last I heard, is available in multiple different countries, but I've only actually seen it for US sellers. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with it, but as practically speaking, it's only available for US sellers. I'm late. What's the big news about eBay? So just to recap, because I know not all of you were here when we started, eBay got rid of the information that they gave us about sold listings. So over here on eBay, they used to tell you when you came to a listing right here, I mean, they still tell you how many times the item sold, but you used to be able to click on it and see when those items sold. It will tell you the exact date and even how much it sold for in many cases. They don't give you that information anymore. But if you use Zeek Analytics, you can still get that information. So right here on Zeek Analytics, it tells me this table sold 90 times and 86 of those times were in the past 30 days. And that's all I care about, if it's selling now within the past 30 days. So Zeek Analytics still gives you that info, but eBay doesn't anymore, which is interesting. And we were trying to figure out why. We thought maybe it's a bug. Some people have some theories about it, but none of them make sense to me, honestly. But nothing eBay does make sense. Yeah, so if you find a lot of the products are being sold cheaper than you can even buy them for, then I would look to see, well, chances are that they are either not drop shipping, they're doing wholesale, or they bought them in bulk from Walmart when they were on sale. Either way, you should really be concentrating on not selling the same exact item, but a similar one. And that's something I'm going to be adding to the course soon, but it's a really good method. So you can look for a substantially similar product that has similar features. You want to give it a similar title. You want to be a similar price as well. And then just do it that way, so you're not in direct competition. Have you ever had to deal with a Walmart buying account getting shut down? No, I haven't. But that way, a main source. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard of that happening. It's worth a shot just to kind of set one up again and see what happens. And then if it doesn't work, then you can kind of go a more in-depth route with VPNs or VPS and different cookies and different name and address and all that sort of stuff. So, Umanzafar says, is inventory source good for drop shipping? And can we make more profit from inventory source rather than other marketplaces? So inventory source is a way to drop ship onto eBay and some other places as well using wholesale suppliers. So it's different than using something like AutoDS or using retail suppliers like drop shipping from Amazon or Walmart. With inventory source, you'd actually be drop shipping using wholesale suppliers. Now, there are pros and cons to retail and wholesale. Wholesale, one of the benefits is the items are going to be cheaper. You can, you can get better prices on the items, so that means more profit for you selling the items for the same price that you would on eBay. So with that method, it comes with those pros. The cons of it, though, is that it's harder to set it up. You have to set up a real business, get a license, form an LLC usually, or sometimes just a DBA, but you have to have like some sort of legitimate business so that you can get approved by these wholesale suppliers to actually sell their products. And then there's other challenges as well, primarily around the software. So when you're drop shipping from retail websites like Amazon and Walmart and Home Depot, one of the reasons it works so well is because we have such great automation set up. You can use software like AutoDS to list items, and it will reprice items, and it will restock them, and it can even automatically order the items for you. And it's just like a seamless integration. AutoDS is pretty affordable for offering all this, and all that works with it. Inventory source is the closest thing we have to automation software for wholesale drop shipping. But the problem with inventory source is that it is dang expensive to use. Last time I looked, if you wanted to start using inventory source with the supplier, it would cost you $100 a month per wholesale supplier. That's crazy. Meanwhile, with like AutoDS, it's like $20 a month, and you can use it with any of like 12 or whatever retail suppliers that it works with. But inventory source is $100 a month per wholesale supplier. So if you think about that, you're going on there, you're not even sure if the wholesale supplier you're going to work with is even good, if they're even going to have products that are going to sell well. And you're already spending $100 a month up front. So it's a bit crazy. And I never thought it was worth it. The only time I would see that being worth it is, okay, you go into inventory source and you use it to find wholesale suppliers. You contact them, you get set up with them, but you don't use inventory source. You can sign up for free and just get a list of all the suppliers it works with without actually paying anything. You only pay stuff when you want the automation set up. So you sign up, you find a wholesale supplier, you get a contract with them, and you start adding their products manually, but you're doing it. And this supplier doesn't work, and that supplier doesn't work, and that supplier doesn't work. But suddenly you find a supplier that is working. They're a great supplier to work with, and you're buying and you're listing items that are actually selling. At that point, it may be worth it to then connect it to Inventory Source and pay the $100 a month, depending on how much you're actually making with it. So that's a situation when it would be worth it, but that's a really case-by-case basis. Please smash the like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. See. Yeah, unfortunately, Saz, if when people's accounts get suspended, it is rare, but without looking at your account, I have no idea why. I don't know if if there was something that you did wrong in the upload process, if you're not from the United States and said that you were, if you didn't upload tracking numbers, there's like a million things that could go wrong that I can't see without looking at your account. Oh, Todd says, hey, Paul, I miss your other channel, the content with Chad. I don't know what happened. I hope everything's okay. Maybe you got bored. Quicker channel. I don't know. I just want to let you know I miss new video. In fact, I watch your old videos. You may remember Todd from Alaska. Oh, thanks, Todd. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we still have a second YouTube channel. It's me and my partner, Chad. So it's Chad and Paul. And we used to document our journey in van life. We would travel around the country in our van, just exploring everything, making videos about it. But then we settled down into a house. So that's the reason, Todd, that we don't do it anymore. Make the videos because we got nothing to make videos about. We're living the boring life, staying at home. We still go out and have adventures sometimes, but just wasn't enough to make videos about it anymore. What is up? Is that 90 times from one person or from total people selling the same table on eBay? Good question, Junior. So coming back over here to Zeke, let me show you. So this is one single listing on eBay. In fact, if you click on it, it'll take you right to the listing on eBay. So this is one seller on eBay. And that one listing by that one seller has sold 90 times in total, and 86 of those sales have been in the past month. So yeah. Omar says, I found another supplier called Zorro, and they sell home decor, furniture, and much more, and they don't use TBA tracking numbers at all. Yeah, Zorro is a good site. I haven't used them a ton. I've used them as a backup, and I also used to use them for Amazon dropshipping. This is a website that kind of reminds me a lot of Home Depot. They have a lot of kind of these supplies like, I don't know, gloves, hand tools, diesel exhaust fluid, kind of Home Depot kind of stuff. So I used to sell a lot of this on Amazon, and some people sell it on eBay as well. Yeah, and obviously they wouldn't use TBA tracking numbers because that TBA tracking numbers only apply when you're buying stuff from Amazon. Oh, this doesn't. So this is interesting. Richard says, I bought an item from AliExpress as a test. It arrived the next day. It got shipped from Walmart. The price on Walmart was much higher too. I don't get it. That's a weird one. So maybe that would be a good thing to drop ship then, because you can take advantage of the fact that somehow they're getting it for cheaper and still get fast delivery on it. There is another reason people are able to sell these items so cheap, and it's a really unfortunate thing. I don't like to talk about it too much because, this might, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but I've seen it happen. I know it's a reality where some people would be selling, and they use Walmart for this, where they buy the items from Walmart using stolen credit cards or gift cards that they got as a result of a scam of some kind. So it's very unfortunate. And that's how they're able to get it so cheap, because they're basically getting it for free. And yeah, so I'm hoping that gets shut down soon. Oh, because they want people to pay for ads. That's stupid. That doesn't work. They don't have their head in the right place. Oh, but you said can't verify. Yeah, so it might just be a rumor. I don't know what that is. Hey, Paul. So I'm making around $500 a month drop shipping from Vinted to eBay. That's $500 on top of my regular stores. I know it's risky, but the profit margin is so good. Vinted. What is that? Let's check it out. So it's kind of like so many of these sites popping up. I can't keep up. So Vinted is kind of like a Poshmark kind of thing, it looks like, right? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely risky because these are like one-offs. If someone buys it and then you go to buy it, it could be out of stock, right? Because they don't have multiples. Yeah. It's definitely risky, but if it's working, I mean, if you find any sort of edge and it works for you, just go for it. It's risky though. But the good news is that if you always make your quantities one and you don't have them good till canceled, meaning that once they sell, they're gone and no one else can buy it, that really mitigates your risk, Boris, because I just read your name. Boris. Sorry. That really mitigates your risk because you're only like, if you listed this one up for sale on eBay and it's sold, then you buy it from here and ship it to them. But if for some reason it's out of stock, well, you've only sold it once and it's only one order that you have to cancel on eBay. So it really depends how often it happens. But it works for you, man. Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's not. Abdallah says, does being top rated help with visibility and boost sales? So when you're selling on eBay, there's different rankings you can have or ratings that are given to you by eBay. There's primarily below standard, which is not good. That's when your account metrics aren't up to par with eBay standards. And you don't want to fall in that position because you can get penalized for being below standard. Then you have above standard, which is right where you're supposed to be. That's like the safe range. And then you have top rated. And top rated, eBay tells us what the benefits are for top rated seller, and none of them really apply to us as drop shippers. And as from what I remember, they never said that you actually get better ranking in the search results. So it could be that they give it to you or they rank you higher and don't tell us, but it isn't in here about it. So let's look at what you get. Okay, top rated. Additional seller protections for top rated sellers. That's there's I think I'm wrong here. Enhanced visibility in search results. Okay, so I was wrong about that. You do actually get it. But let's see. You got to have an account that's 90 days old. You have to have some sales. Your defect rate has to be low, so we can all do that. Cases closed without seller resolution, we can do that. A late shipment rate of less than 3%, we can do that. And tracking numbers uploaded, so we can do that as well. The top rated plus is right here. And for this one, we can't really get this one because you need to offer same or 1 day handling times. So we can't really get top rated plus, but if you can get top rated, yeah, there are some benefits to that. So I was a little mistaken about that. I think I got it confused with top rated plus, because top rated plus is the one that we can't really get as drop shippers because you need same or 1 day handling times. So you're not going to be able to achieve that one, but you could certainly get top rated, and you can get probably the benefit of enhanced visibility in the search results, which is always nice to get that. Which would in turn boost visibility and sales if that wasn't clear. Dr. X says, I got a customer asking for a tax receipt invoice for an item. There's a way to do that, or like send them with the receipt. I don't know. Every time the customer asks me about that, I kind of get annoyed because it's like, I can never remember how to do it. And I just kind of, you got to tell them you got to check your email, because it should be in the email, and it's not, you don't have to actually send them anything else. Hey, what's up, Mike? Boris says, yes, 100% it's risky, but every business model has a risk, Yeah, I agree. Profit margins have been amazing. It's a copy and paste system. Yeah. So it does sound manual, but that sounds pretty cool if you're willing to put in the work and hustle a bit. Yeah, so you just send them a script if it's out of stock. Cool. Awesome. So as long as you have a system figured out, I mean, that's awesome. Props to you, man. Do you offer returns for that? That'd be my question, because I always dislike selling clothing and stuff because of returns and stuff. And I don't know if this website allows returns. A lot of these make it hard to return or don't offer them. So I'm kind of curious about that. Let's see if it says something about returns. And they're used, right? So you're putting on it used. Yeah, I'm not sure. Would you ever dropship directly from a manufacturer's site for brands that don't sell through normal retailers? Sometimes I see items on Shark Tank, TikTok, etc. that I want to sell, but I don't know if it's safe. The risk there is with Vero. You don't want to sell Vero brands on eBay. So there's always that risk. You got to kind of check yourself. So the good thing about using a listing software like AutoDS is that if you try to list a brand that's Vero, it will warn you and say, hey, you probably shouldn't list this item because you could get in trouble for listing it. That would be my fear. That's the red flag that comes up for me when you kind of talk about this method. And then the other thing is just automation. I mean, I like always finding ways to just automate the whole process where I don't have to do a lot of work. Sorry, not a lot of work, but I like to have some sort of system in place where it can just run itself. And when you're using websites that don't work with the software, it's going to be a lot more work for you. Appreciate it. Appreciate Todd. Appreciate the thumbs up. I seem very relaxed today. Do I normally not seem relaxed? I wouldn't be surprised if you said I'm not a relaxed looking person. Let's see. How do taxes work? That's way too complicated to explain in 6 minutes. We have an interesting tax system here in the United States. You have to pay tax on profit, and you get taxed at a different percentage depending on how much you make. It's I forget what it's called, a tiered system. It's complicated. Okay, I don't allow returns as it doesn't work. He's talking again about drop shipping from Vinted. I don't allow returns as it doesn't work. However, even if I get one return per 80 items, the profit I would have made would be worth it. Also on Vinted, the buyer always pays shipping. Okay, so you have to factor that in as well, the shipping cost. So you have to add that to the cost of the item. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. Buyer pays Vinted fees and shipping, so a seller you keep 100%. Cool. Oh, wow. That's cool for sellers. It's great for sellers. You just have to factor all that in. You know, the cool thing about that, Boris, is that that makes it more difficult. Like if I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to figure out how to drop ship from Vinted onto eBay. I'm looking at this t-shirt. It's $10, but I have to pay extra for shipping and then the fees. I'm confused. I give up, right? That's the kind of the mindset a lot of people are going to have. You have figured it out. Obviously, you know how to do the math. So that's just going to keep out competition. So good for you, man. I mean, that's what you see a lot of, is that people don't want to do the work to figure out how things work and find out the intricacies of it and all the problems that might come up and all these different things, like what the fees are and the shipping costs and all of that. It's too much work for people, so they give up. That just keeps out competition for you, which is pretty great. So congrats on finding that. All right, everyone. So that's the live stream for this week. That's the big news going on with eBay. Wish I had more information about why eBay has made these changes, but they don't share that information with me or with a lot of people, with anyone really. So I'll definitely keep my eyes open, see what I can find out about why this is happening, or if it's a permanent change or not. And I'll certainly update you as I find out more as well. If you guys like this live stream, if you got any sort of value out of it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your grandma to subscribe, because we're closing in on 100,000 subscribers. And then join me for the next live Q&A. I do them every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Come, ask your questions, and I will answer them for you. Thanks for hanging out, everyone, and see you next week. Bye for now.